in the budget in the round, the Office for Budget Responsibility say that unemployment falls, employment levels rise, wages rise, real household disposable incomes increase over the course of this Parliament. So if you take the measures that I set out in the budget in the round, it's good for jobs and it's good for growth.
Good. Perfect. Right. Thank you. Now, if you think myself and the media have missed the key issues altogether, please, this is your opportunity now. So we'll have a question here.
Sorry, one more from the media, Sky News.
No.
Chancellor, you say you won't be coming back for more, that the spending envelope has been set, but under your current plans, some departments after this year will experience real terms cuts to their budget. So are you fine with that?
Well, first of all, you can't be in a position to say that because we haven't set departmental budgets for beyond 25-26, as you know. We'll be doing that in the second phase of the spending review, and work will get going soon on that, and we'll be publishing the second phase of the spending review in spring next year. But what I am really clear about, and I've said it already a couple of times today, that public services now need to live within the envelope that we've set. We will not be coming back to top up those budgets. We have set the envelope for public spending, and it's through reform and through economic growth that we need to be able to properly fund our public services and to improve living standards for ordinary families.
Good. Now all the media are going to behave themselves and not stick their hands up. Fine. We have a question just here.
Thank you. Jo Bibby from the Health Foundation. We're concerned with the impact of poor working age health on productivity and growth. There's 2.8 million people out of work on health grounds. There's 3.8 million people in work with poor health. So you've talked about wanting to boost growth, but without addressing this working age health challenge, it's going to be a struggle. And we see time and again how the investment we need in prevention gets squeezed by the acute spending demands. So I'm interested, do you think this is a time to start now looking at different rules for prevention spending as a government, as you do for capital? And what incentives can you give employers to put worker health at the top of their agenda?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Jo. And I hope you can see from the work that we're doing across government in Department of Health and Social Care, Work and Pensions, and also in education, that we are a government that's trying to be joined up and tackle some of these deep-rooted challenges that we face. It included in the budget was £22.6 billion for health spending, including money to get those waiting lists down, because there are many people of all ages who are on health waiting lists and as a result aren't available for work, and we need to get those people off waiting lists and back into work, as well as tackling the big challenge we face in mental health, which is keeping many people out of the workplace. And that's why the white paper that we'll be publishing to get Britain working will be across work and pensions, skills and health. So for the first time, to have a joined up piece of work that addresses the myriad reasons for that rising sickness bill and taking a cross-government approach to help people stay in the workplace, as you rightly say, but also help people get back to work through both skills and health interventions to make that possible.
Perfect. We've got a question over here.
Thank you. Natasha Thomas from Sage, a UK FTSE technology company. We welcome the announcement in the budget that the government's National Technology Advisor is now going to move ahead and lead a review on barriers to adopting technology. So will the government take this opportunity now to move quickly towards a really ambitious strategy for the UK to become a highly digitalised economy? So, for example, setting targets for cloud and AI adoption, but also aligning with Asia and Europe to move towards e-invoicing, which leads to faster payment, better access to finance, and ultimately actually easier sustainability reporting for UK SMEs.
Thank you very much for that question, Natasha. Peter Kyle at the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology is leading this work. And there's three key strands to it. The first of all is about attracting those firms that are at the cutting edge of technology to Britain. And that's why at the International Investment Summit in October, we were so pleased to announce significant investment, for example, in data centres and in the tech space, because we want that cutting-edge investment here in Britain. And it's brilliant that Demis Hassabis is going to be getting the Nobel Prize, I think, next week for the work that he's done at DeepMind. And keeping DeepMind in Britain has been absolutely crucial for creating that sort of ecosystem for those high-tech sectors. The second thing, which is what you touched upon, is about diffusion of technology through the wider economy. And I'll just come back to that in a second. But the third is about how we can use technology and AI better in public services. And I'm really determined to do this, because one of the things that's really frustrated me in the first few months in this job is that if we want to tackle fraud in the welfare system, or indeed in HMRC, then I'm told we've got to put a load more money in to have people who are manually chasing up these cases, rather than investing in technology, which is, I expect, what many of your businesses do, to root out that fraud. And we need, as a government, to be doing much more to embrace cutting-edge technologies, to improve the service that we deliver to the customers of government services, but also to reduce the costs. And as I said earlier, there's a huge amount that I want to learn from business to do that, because, frankly, government is behind the curve when it comes to this. But the point that you make is absolutely crucial for driving up productivity through the wider economy, because we see technology everywhere, but we don't seem to see it in the productivity numbers. And that is because, and Andy Haldane has sort of set this out really well, both when he was chief economist at the Bank of England and since when he's been at the RSA, that we've got this long tail of businesses with low productivity. And if we can spread that diffusion of technology, which I know that's something that Sage, with the work that you do with small businesses, is absolutely keyed into. If we can do that, we have a chance of lifting both our productivity performance and therefore our growth numbers, but also, crucially, the incomes of working people. And I want to work with businesses like Sage to do that. And I know that Peter Kyle and Matt Clifford and Patrick Vallance and others in government are really determined to make sure that not only are we attracting businesses at the frontier of technology, but we're also diffusing that technology, as you say, Natasha, through the wider economy.
Right, fantastic. Thank you. So we're going to wrap up in just a minute. We're going to just finish on my favourite topic, which is optimism, as you know. Okay, being a Scotland fan, you have to be optimistic in life. Otherwise, it's just not worthwhile living. So, you know, you've done the difficult stuff. You've done the budget. You've taken the hard decisions. You've faced up to the criticism. But what's really, really important, I always think, for the future, for the economy, for growth, for investment, for business, is optimism and having confidence, because investment will flow in the back of confidence. So when you look at where we are now, what's your sort of grounds for optimism and grounds for a confident future?
So I'm hugely optimistic about Britain and our potential to grow and bring good jobs paying decent wages here, and for us to be increasingly competitive on the global stage. We've got so much going for us as a country, whether it's our cutting-edge industries in life sciences, technology, our brilliant universities and entrepreneurs. But we all know, and this sort of builds on Natasha's point, that we need to see that cutting-edge innovation really run through our whole economy, through businesses big and small. And government has got to play its part, but it's only one part, and a small part compared to the heavy lifting that businesses need to do. But what government can do is to create the conditions to encourage that business investment. First of all, that's providing that rock of stability so that businesses can look to the future with confidence, knowing that the rules of the game have been set, and they now have been. But also the work that we can do to remove those barriers that are stopping you if you're investing, whether it's because it takes too long to get things through the planning system, whether it's because as an entrepreneur, you find it much easier to raise finance in the US than you do in the UK, and so you gradually shift towards the US rather than listing and keeping your intellectual property here in the UK. Whether it is struggling to access the skills, either because, as Joe says, there are too many people trapped out of work because of sickness and ill health, or because we're not open enough to global talent from around the world. And it's my job as Chancellor to really corral the whole of government to be thinking every day about what we can do to remove the barriers that stop investment or delay investment into Britain. And whether it's the announcements that I made in my first week as Chancellor on planning and pensions, whether it is the £63 billion that we brought in at the International Investment Summit, whether it's the Mansion House speech and regulating for growth, not just regulating for risk, or indeed whether it's what we did at the budget in returning stability to the economy, this government have already got started in less than 5 months to do the things that I know are necessary for unlocking growth. And I want to work with all of you to fulfil our potential as a country, to make this the best place to start a business, to grow a business and to invest in. And together, working together, I know that we can do just that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you again for coming along. And if we could all join in saying thank you to the Chancellor. Thank you.